What's up, y'all? Jason here representing Raptor Reptiles, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys an update video on the new baby bearded dragons that are here at Raptor Reptiles. So pay close attention to this video. It's going to be a good one. We're going to go through again all the genetics that I currently have right now. We're going to talk about Mars, which is the mother of the clutch, you know, one of the OGs here at Raptor Reptiles, one of the first bearded dragons I ever had, what makes her so special, and you know, just touch on a lot of that type of stuff. As far as I know, a lot of people out there are trying to breed, and just give you guys a little bit of my insight and experience, and my own opinion as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so like I said, OG Mars, she is the mother, and in my opinion, one of the best reds I have ever seen. And I've had Mars for quite some time now. Had her for at least 4 years. I bought her as a baby from Michael over at Weeby Reptiles. I know a lot of her genetics, and I know he had gotten a lot of his reds back in the day from Jealous Badass Beardy. So the line that she is, it was kind of like, it's more of like it died out because they got out of breeding bearded dragons, but she's phenomenal, and she is time tested. Like, she's a translucent leatherback, and like I said, she's 4 years old. She's still breeding, super healthy, great appetite, like exceptional structure, by the way, because with the reds you kind of get into, from what I noticed, a lot of diciness with people kind of rushing their projects and doing line breeding, and we can get into more about, you know, line breeding and outcrossing in a different video. But basically what they're doing is they're putting, you know, siblings together and mothers and daughters together to try and really intensify, you know, that red color. And you know, there's a time and place for it. Bearded dragons, there's a limited amount of gene pool. You know, we can't import or export from Australia, so what I'm trying to do is, you know, I was taking my time with it, and obviously trying to create my own line of reds, which will probably come in the next year or so. But I also had Rojo, which I had got from Excalibur Dragons, and he was great as well. I had him for about 3 years before I bred him, so I know the history of these dragons, and you know, it was a great pairing, and I had a great outcome. And then once we get to the babies, I'll show you why the outcome was so great. But let's just throw Mars on here for fun, and let's just see how much she's currently weighing right now. And this is after, I mean, she's already a pretty hefty dragon, but you know, she also had laid 3 clutches. So let's clear this out. So 0 grams right now. Yeah, 552. Like, that's rare for dragons in general these days, especially for a red dragon. I have not seen many, and that's why she is so precious to me, and she is the start to my project. She may not be the reddest dragon, but you guys know me, I'm into big, healthy dragons. I look at everything. You have to really look at, you know, the tail structure. You have to look at their legs. I've been seeing a lot of frog legs out there and super skinny back legs on dragons, and to me that's not something that I'm into, and that's definitely not how they're supposed to be. So what you can do is you can really Google pictures of them. So really what you can do is you can Google images of, you know, Pogona Vitticeps, or, you know, a lot of people are bringing in the Pogona barbatas now, and kind of get a look of them in the wild. They're not going to have those crazy colors because, you know, this is like 20-30 generations of us breeding for color. But you can get a good idea of their structure and kind of figure out what you're going for. And you know, with reptiles, there's really no pedigree for it. They're not like dogs. There's no standards, there's no certificates. So, you know, the story is true. any Joe Schmo can be like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, breed with zero experience and, you know, put two animals together, have them breed. Does that mean that they're gonna be healthy? Does it mean that's gonna be an ethical breeding? You never know. I mean, it depends on the person and who's mentoring them. I've had multiple mentors, you know, across my journey, and I take their advice not lightly, and it's okay to sometimes be critiqued. I'm not perfect. I'm not the end all be all. I'm just telling you guys what I go for with dragons, and that's what I care about. So like I said, you know, you look at their overall structure, make sure that they're proportional. You know, I start usually at the tail, check their tail base, you know, check their hind leg structure, check their spine, make sure that, you know, they're not the humpback of Notre Dame. Sorry, my dog, he loves them. He's gentle with them too. And Mars loves Bane. Obviously supervised. I don't let him just like, you know, play with her as he pleases. But, you know, check their crown, their head structure. You know, you can check them if they have an overbite, an underbite. Make sure that they have, you know, all their fingers and toes. They're not missing toes. So, you know, there's signs out there that you can kind of know if somebody is doing ethical breeding and, you know, breeding in a positive direction, or if they're just like, hey, I'm gonna put, you know, the most maxed out genetic dragons that aren't strong breeders together just to get a nice outcome. Because when they're babies like this, you're kind of taking a gamble unless you know where your dragons came from. Like, I'm pretty open with my, you know, facility and my housing, and I give you guys all my tips and tricks. I'm not keeping any secrets over here, so I want you guys to do good as well, and I'm here to help. So if people do have questions, I urge you to leave them in the comments, and I've been getting a lot better at answering them all and trying to help you guys out. If you want to be a bearded dragon breeder, that's fine with me. Like, you know, I'm a very small scale hobby breeder, but I strive and take pride in my animals. And, you know, I've said this in other videos, if your dragon does not look like mine, then you're probably not, you know, your husbandry is not on point. So just one tip would be, before you just get into full-on breeding, just make sure your husbandry is up and, you know, you're ready for it. But yeah, she's gorgeous and definitely the base to my project. Like, it doesn't get to me much more flawless than this, and she's time tested. You know, I get a lot of reds that look banging and stuff. These guys don't even make it till 2 years old. They'll just drop dead. They could have, you know, deformed organs you can't see, extra nodes on their hearts. They get seizures, head twitches, trans to trans, two recessive genes that are weak. They'll do the both visuals to them. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff. And I know that Mars came from a het-to-het pairing, and Rojo, he came from a visual to a non-carrier, which made him 100% het trans. So in my eyes, it was okay for me to then go ahead and do, you know, a visual to a het, and I got healthy offspring, and it paid off. But enough about genetics and why we love baby Mars here so much. And you don't really see it that often with that deep, you know, red beard underneath her beard, and she is just a sweetheart. She is a little fatty, but, you know, when they're laying and you know, producing eggs, I really don't like to restrict them on the food. And, you know, she's never been sick. I've never had to take her to the vet. You know, I basically do everything I can in-house, and you can just tell by looking at her, she's bright-eyed and happy. She's actually getting ready to go down in brumation, and I will be creating a brumation video in the future. So that's enough about Mars and why we love her, and she is a star breeder here at Raptor Reptiles. Alright, so now we'll get into, you know, the different clutches and different dragons that I have. And as you can see, you can kind of go back and watch the first video, but like I said, the color development is real, and I will place a picture of Rojo and show you what he looks like. But obviously these reds, like I said, they take a while to develop in color, and with my experience, the ones that take longer to develop color, they usually turn out to be the reddest ones. So, and as you can see, this is Godzilla. She is my leatherback, 100% head hypo and trans in my hold back. She was from the first clutch and is just banging dragging, like out of control. She got the best of both worlds from Mars and Rojo, and super colored up already. I believe she hatched July 14th, so she's not even 4 months yet, and it did take about 3 months for her to really like shine though. This one's really nice too. I'm thinking about holding this one back. This one's got more of like a really deep red color to it. It's also a leatherback, 100% head hypo and trans, female, but you can see probably going to be maybe a little bit darker than Godzilla, so I'm curious. So regardless, she's going to be held back just so I can watch a development and just kind of learn. So I'm not in a rush to sell her. Actually, she was up for sale and then I changed my mind, so I'm glad no one snagged her up. This beauty here is going to my good friend Charlie Martinez. He owns Flash Dragon, so go check him out. He's got some beautiful reds right now. I'm gonna be snagging up some of his, and I know he's snagging up some of mine, so this one's going to him, and she's a beast. She's a normal scale, 100% head hypo and trans. Just obviously she's in a back shed, but her arms shed out and they're like crazy. So he snagged her up already. Let's see what else we got here. This is my male. He's a translucent 100% het hypo. This guy's a beast too. I'm keeping him back I'm holding him back too to kind of watch him develop as well. But he's obviously all in shed too, so it's kind of hard to see. Let's see what else we got in here. This is the infamous baby Mars. So this is one of the few female translucents I got back, but you can see where she shed. It's just ridiculous. Like, she's probably going to be more red than Mars is. So you're talking to extra generation, and you can really see the difference. So I can't wait for her to shed out. But she's a translucent leatherback, 100% het hypo. And then I got these two. These are my last, because people keep asking me, these are my last two female translucent. This one's a leatherback, this one's a normal scale. They're from the third clutch, that's why there's a big size difference in these. But these are one of the few I have left, and that's how these trans start out. They start out very dark, and then they just all of a sudden go through a shed and get super red. So they will look like baby Mars and that hold back male that I have. So Charlie, take a good look at these, because if you want one of these can go to you, and hopefully they'll turn into baby Mars that I got. And then everyone keeps sleeping on this giant one. I had a sale up for her, like a Halloween sale, but she's massive. She's not the most colorful, but it doesn't matter. She's massive. She's the biggest of the second clutch, and she's a normal scale, 100% head hypo and trans. Would make an exceptional pet. Super hand tame already. You only have to tame her down. I've already put a lot of money into her, feeding her up, and I think I had her up for like $85, which was nothing. So yeah, she's great. And like I said, I'm shocked that she's here. I do have an expo, so if you're in the Northeast area, I will be at the Oaks, Pennsylvania show next week vending, and she probably won't be here after that. So that's another little disclaimer for you guys. If you want them, I only have about 19 left for sale. So if you do want them, jump on them now. I know I'm kind of in the middle of working out transactions with people, so if you want them, jump on them before Saturday, because then I can't guarantee they're gonna be here. And I do care a lot about my subs, and I appreciate you guys. And like I said, these guys aren't super expensive either, and it is gonna start to get cold here. It's actually starting to, so my shipping window is gonna close. This one's gorgeous too. This one's a male. He's got some awesome tiger bars on them. But just again, look at the structure of all my dragons. They all have their fingers and toes, no over and under bite. They're all proportional, thick tail base. Doesn't matter if they're from the first or the third clutch. I only got one runt out of 3 clutches, and that happens sometimes, and there's just not much you can do about that. This one's awesome too. This is a male leatherback. I'm surprised he's here too. I did get some hits on him though. This one's also another normal scale. He's like more of a tiger as well. So if you would pair this up to a hypo, those bars would probably eventually go blue. So this one's super nice. A lot of these are kind of either mid-shed. Some are all shed out. It just depends. This one's awesome too. This one's really, really red. Right here, this is one of my favorites. I was thinking about holding this one back too. Also a leatherback. And look at the tail. That's super dark red. Just unbelievable. So it's like anything. Not all dragons are created equal. That's just the truth of it. Not everyone in the clutch is gonna be like Godzilla, but you know, not everyone is gonna be a breeder, but these are all gonna make phenomenal pets regardless. This is probably the nicest translucent leatherback out of all 3 clutches right here. This one is awesome. Super red already. This guy's probably like 2 months only, because if the oldest isn't even 4. This is unbelievable right here. This guy is the truth. But he's a male translucent leatherback, and if you're trying to start a red project and you need a red male and you need to enroll that trans gene in there, or leatherback, he's also 100% het hypo, I would jump on this guy. He is picked up, looking awesome, flawless in every way. Looking even onto this, even his belly too, his beard, everything is just going red already. So for like 2 months, they hatched out brown and tan. Look at that belly too. Oh, little man. Just gummy belly, just perfect trans. This one's gonna be nice too. This is from the last clutch. That's why he's a bit smaller here. This is also a male. Once they're about 15 grams, I'm shipping them out. Depending, this is the runt right here, so it's from the first clutch, and no matter, obviously he's eating and doing well. It's kind of like a dwarf, I guess, just not really growing but healthy, eats and everything. But he's about the same size as the ones that just hatched recently, and he's got a tiny little nip. There was a woman that is interested in taking him, you know, just basically as an adoption. I'm not charging her. She does want another dragon as well, so that's still on the table. So this guy too, he's busting out of a shed, but this is an interesting trans. Like I said, most start out very dark and then they just go red one day. He's also from the 3rd clutch. Keeping an eye on this one though. And yeah, that's it. So if you stayed to the end, here you go. Hit me up on Instagram at Raptor Reptiles, and let me know you watched my YouTube video. Alright, so if you stayed to the end and you know, you don't have a lot of money, but you want a really nice dragon that you know came from good genetics and has good care, I'm gonna do a special, a YouTube special. You can either hit me up on my email or Instagram at Raptor Reptiles. Any 4 of these guys right here. So we got 3 normal scale, and this is the bonus, the 1 leatherback. These are gonna be going for $85 plus actual shipping to your door. So just say, hey Jason, I saw your latest update video and I'm interested in one of those dragons, and just send me your zip code and you can make one of these guys happen for you for the holidays. So just to show my appreciation to all you guys on YouTube and you know, all the constant support. And also don't forget, I put a lot of time and effort into creating those kits on kit.com. So definitely check those out. Shows all the supplements and all the equipment that I currently use that I trust and know that work. And you know the drill. As usual, stay tuned for more. Fire. Woo. That hot Cheeto in the back. Baby Mars. Woo. Damn. If that ain't red, I don't know what is. Woo. Getting their bath time. This is it. After these are gone, it's a wrap for this year. But it was a great year. It's a great comeback year. This guy's gonna probably go super red, super dark. So cool. Love this one too.